Welcome to Thinner Peace and Menopause and Beyond. This is Dr. Deb Butler, Master Life and Weight Coach, and as always, your coach. Today is episode number 211. Stay tuned. Hi, everybody. Well, how you doing? Crazy times going on here. But I'll tell you what I'm doing right now, if you don't already know. Because whenever I do my podcast, I'm doing it from big windows that look outside of my woods. And since I'm living in Missouri, we are almost in full spring. So right now when I'm looking at my woods, the leaves aren't fully formed yet. They're still baby leaves and it's not fully green yet. But the miracle of nature astounds me. I'm astounded by nature and how little control I have over it. Which brings me to the topic of today, which is all circumstances we have no control over. Whatever the circumstance is, we have no control over it. There's a virus going on right now. It's a circumstance. We don't have any control over it. All we have is our mind to manage it. So what I have special for you today is I actually did a free webinar that you may or may not have heard about at the beginning of the week. And there were hundreds of people on the call, and it was such a beautiful webinar, if I may say so myself. But the reason that I'm going to share it with you today on my podcast is because I want you to hear the power of coaching. And what's most fascinating to me is I really thought I was going to be trying to help people manage their minds around the virus. But what I ended up coaching on mostly was management of their minds around their bodies and their weight, which is also just a circumstance. It's what's still most prevalent. And during this time, you really do have a choice of what you want the result of you and yourself to be by the time it's over. And so I want you to listen to this webinar because it lets you see that where you want to be 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks from now is totally dependent on what you want to think now. So if where you want to be 6, 8, 12 weeks from now, if you want to be thinner, healthier, and happier, your pants a little looser, feeling more control over food, trusting yourself when you're around food in any situation, at home all the time, food all around, and knowing that you can always make your best choices for yourself. So when it's over, you feel stronger than ever, then this webinar is for you. That you're going to hear in a minute. But the other thing that I want to tell you about with this webinar is that on it, I also talked about a new class that I've created for this time. And that's what I want to talk to you about now. I'm now offering it to the public, which is you. I'm offering a brand new class that starts May 5th on Tuesdays at 12 o'clock noon. I've got all the details. If you want to look at the details, you can go to drdebbutler.com/essentials. And basically that's what I'm going to be covering, the essentials of the Thinner Peace mindset. I'm going to include a workbook and it's going to include coaching every single time. If you're interested in being in a brand new place, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks from now, this class may be for you because I'm going to teach you how to manage your mind and I'm going to coach you and you're going to have the power of watching other people be coached so that you can help yourself too. Go check it out. Now, in a minute, I'm going to play you the webinar that I actually did 3 days ago and you're going to hear the power of people being coached. If it sings to you, then maybe that's exactly what you need. Enjoy the webinar. What I really want to do today is I want to help you believe that now is the very best time to take care of whatever needs to be taken care of. Like, it's not the time to take a break. It's time to get to work. And I think that there's only one way to do it. And I think it's if you learn how to figure out what's going on in there. And so the purpose of today is I want to help you do that. So first of all, the way I want to start this out is I want you to see what's on my little board right here about the definition of a miracle. All right, so let's start with what is a miracle. The definition that I like is that it's a shift in perception from fear to love. And this is by Marianne Williamson. And I love this definition of a miracle because that means on this day today, in this webinar that you're doing with me, I want all of you to expect a miracle. And I want you to work on creating one for yourself because it's a shift in perception. And I love the shift in perception from fear to love because let's face it, when you're in fear, you ain't feeling so good. And when you're in love, love feels so much better than fear. But I also like the definition, and I use it a lot in my coaching, that a miracle is a shift in perception. It's from thinking something to thinking something else. And it's like when your mind thinks something that makes you feel good, it's like a miracle. It's like you can be in a time like this and you could be thinking things that make you feel so bad and so scared. Or in that next minute, you could be thinking something that creates a totally different emotion for you. And it's under your control. That's what I want to use today about. I know it's all about the food, and I know that you know that it's all about the thinking. So we're going to use food and we're going to use thinking to help you change your perception wherever you are right now. We can use it on what you're eating. We can use it on anything. But this is what I want to say about this. Now, these times, everything is heightened. If you weren't getting along with your spouse before this, it's probably not better. If you've been having a lot of trouble with urges and you've been overeating a lot, now it's probably worse. Whatever you were doing or thinking prior to this time, it's only going to be heightened because the thoughts that you think never go away. They either go into hiding or they get exaggerated. And I think this time right now is exaggerating everything. So let's use it to see if what is bothering you or what you're thinking is something that's really always been there. It's just that you didn't have to deal with it as much. But the beauty of that is what better time to take care of it? I would love for all of you guys to think about in the next 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, that you're better and stronger than when it started. That's an option for you. And I know a lot of you have thoughts about all this, but I want you to know you have options. We're going to talk about those options today, knowing that a lot of what's going on for you is not new. That's what I want you to see. It's not new. It's probably just exaggerated, which means it's more in your face and maybe easier for me to coach. And there's nothing I like doing better than coaching. So I really love if you bring all your heightened stuff here so I can coach you on it. And I'm going to think of myself as a nutcracker. I think that you're going to bring your brain, which is like a nut. Our brains are like nuts. And I'm going to crack it open. And we're going to just see what's in there. And we're going to see if we can get some of the stuff out that's not serving you and find the stuff that can serve you and change your perception. It can be about anything. So let me go to the next thing, which is my favorite thing to talk about, which is the model. I think like when I do mini sessions with people, probably the two biggest problems that I see is one, they don't know how to use the model. Even though I teach it, it's really hard to apply it for themselves. And two, they can't see their own thinking, so they believe everything that they think. So mini sessions can be very enlightening because I can show you something that you're thinking that you think is a fact. And when you think something is a fact, then it's not changeable. So today we want to use your brain to see if I can help you separate out your thoughts from the actual facts, because this is one thing we know about the model. The model has 5 components. The first component is the C, and it's a circumstance. And a circumstance is a fact that can be proven in court, and it's neutral. There's no emotion to it because it's just a fact. You know, the judge hears it. Yes, that's true. That's what's going on. We have a virus right now. That's a C. It's neutral. I know it's hard to believe, but it is. All circumstances, which are facts, are neutral. This is the thing about these components is that this circumstance triggers a thought, a T. And a thought is just a sentence in our head that's triggered from the circumstance. And it can be a thought when we think about the virus, maybe we think, oh my God, this is the end. Or why matter about anything? Or maybe this is an opportunity for me to do something I've never been able to do before. It's going to create a thought. And those thoughts are very important now. The reason they're so important is because they cause
An F or a feeling. And a feeling is an emotion, it's a vibration in your body. It feels really strong and positive, or it can be very strong and negative, or it can be very light and positive, or very light and negative. But it's a vibration in your body and it signals you about what's happening. A feeling is not caused by a circumstance. A feeling is caused by a thought, a sentence in your head that's triggered by a circumstance. Once you have a thought that causes a feeling causes an action or a non-action. You either do something or you don't do something by how you feel. You really want to think about this because a lot of people, I coach a lot of smart women who love to go to that A line. Tell me what to do. Just tell me what to do. Tell me what to eat. Tell me how to eat it. Tell me when to eat it, and I'll do it. That's the A line. That's where all diets go. They go in the A line, like I'm just going to do this. And the problem with your A line is if it's not lined up with your thought and feelings, it won't work for very long. So it's very important that all of this is lined up because whatever you do in your action line will create an effect or a result. And your result, which is an effect of your actions, will always provide evidence for your thinking. Whatever you're thinking, you'll see it in your result line. Whatever your results are right now that you don't like, if it has to do with your weight, your body, whoever, whatever, it's because of what you're thinking. Because whatever you're thinking, you will look for it and you will see it. And that is why it feels like it's a fact, like it's a circumstance. So I have a lot of people say to me, I've been trying this, I've been doing this for 20 or 30 years, and I've never been able to lose the weight and keep it off. They say it like it's a fact. It's probably true at some points in time that you've lost weight and you gained weight. But when you say, I've never been able to do it, you create evidence to prove that you won't be able to do it just by thinking it over and over and over again. It looks like it's a fact, and you can't separate it. And the more you think it, the more you create it. Ooh, not good. So here's the thing about this. I want to talk about these 5 components because there's one thing about these components that you have to know. 4 of them are under your control and 1 of them isn't. It's a circumstance. It's the only thing that's not in your control. Everything else is. Your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, and results are all under your control. If you want to know why some of you feel like nuts in your head, kind of crazy, because most of us, if we don't understand this concept, are trying to control our circumstances. And when we do, we're going to feel kind of crazy because it's the only thing we can't control. And all the things that we can control, we're not controlling. So today is going to be a day of showing you what you can control by coaching you on what you can control, by doing the model with you and using whatever circumstance you want or whatever you have going on in your life that you want coaching on. Now is the time to want to do it.
I have been doing really well. I went off carbs and sugar and white bread and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'd lost about 20 pounds. I was really pleased with myself. But recently, I don't know what happened. It's like a switch went off. And now I'm just eating everything again. And I'm like, everything tastes so dang good.
Yeah.
So I'd like to go back to losing weight. I'm so disappointed in myself. I know I will feel so much better if I could lose the weight.
Why do you think you'll feel better if you lose the weight?
I won't have this big gut in front of me.
Okay. Well, you know that this big gut you have in front of you is a thought. I don't know if you can prove it in court. I don't know if you can prove it in court, sweetheart.
Okay.
You think you have a big gut?
Yes.
Right. How does it make you feel?
It makes me feel ugly.
Okay. So probably when you look in the mirror, what do you see? Pretty or ugly?
Usually ugly.
Right. Because there's no way you could see anything else when you think that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We think that our perception is based on what we see, but our eyes are actually controlled through our brain and what we think. And so perception is a very interesting thing because what we see out of our eyes is based on how we think. So for you, you think weight loss is going to be the answer that's going to make you feel pretty, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, right. Okay, so let me ask you this. Why did you decide to stop eating carbs and all that?
I had a cousin who went on keto and she lost a ton of weight and she's kept it off for a long time. And so, and then I know that that's something you encourage as well, or to go off the carbs. Or at least that's my impression.
Well,
Yes.
I just say no flour, no sugar.
Yeah.
I don't say carbs, but I don't say no flour, no sugar, period. Like there's a lot of coaching that I do around that with my clients. It's not like you just go on no flour, no sugar, because otherwise the only reason you're doing it is just to lose weight.
Yeah.
And it's not that compelling. You would think it would be, but that's probably what's going on right now. It's like, what's going on? What do you think happened? Why was it so easy and now it's not? Why are you eating everything and it tastes so good and before you weren't?
Possibly because both my kids came home from college.
Huh?
So I'm naturally now I'm cooking. It was easy not to cook with keto. You just kind of snack.
Okay. So Janelle, this is what I want to tell you and I want to show everybody. Do you remember what I said at the beginning is everything is sort of heightened?
Yes.
Okay. So this isn't really new for you, I doubt. You just believe that you think is like if nobody's around and I can just take care of my own little bubble, I won't have a problem.
It was easier.
That's what you believe.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you think, that it was easier and now you think it's harder.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But here's the thing. This is what I want you to see. What's heightened for you is that you're thinking to yourself, under certain circumstances, I can do this. And under certain circumstances, I can't. Like I have clients that go, as long as I'm at home and I don't go anywhere, I'm fine. And then they go somewhere, they're not fine anymore. So until you can come up with something in your mind that is bulletproof, no carbs, no carb, even no flour, no sugar doesn't mean shit to a tree if you don't have something to back it up.
Wait, could you repeat that last statement? If I can't back it up, what did you say?
If you can't back it up with your thoughts and your feelings, like if in your action line, the only thing that you're trying to do is to not eat carbs, you have to have a really good reason for doing it, because otherwise something's going to happen and the food's going to end up in front of you. And you're going to put it in your mouth and then you're going to decide you like it. And then you're going to decide you want to keep eating more of it. That's what's going on.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And now you tell yourself it tastes so good. And it is. And your brain is lit up. It does light up. So the question is what do you want to believe about this is for everybody. If the situation has changed at home, the circumstance is not what's causing your problem. So if we look here and we look at the model for you, the kids are home from college.
Yes.
That's a fact, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts, feelings, actions, and results. Your action is?
Well, my thought is that I need to start making dinner because my kids are home and I want us all to spend time together.
Okay, but I want to show you your A line is you're eating food you don't want to be eating, right?
Yes.
I want to go to your action first because we know what you're doing so we can see what you're thinking that's causing it.
Mm-hmm.
Eating food I don't really want to eat.
Yes.
How do you think you're feeling when you're eating that food? Because I don't think you're thinking about you want to cook for your kids. I think you're thinking something about as long as I'm cooking and I'm making all this food, I should be able to eat too. Something like that. I want to join in on the fun. You tell me, what is it?
It seems more mindless. I don't think I even think that.
You're thinking something. You're thinking something. I promise you. You're thinking something or you wouldn't be doing this. Something is causing you to eat food that you don't really want to be eating. The feeling can be something like entitled. The feeling can be something like apathy.
If I'm thinking anything at times, it is, I'll just always be fat.
Yeah. Well, and maybe you're thinking, I'll always be fat, so what the heck?
Yeah.
Right? Like you're cooking and you're doing all this stuff for your kids. Like as long as they're not there and you don't have to cook for them, you can stay on this.
It seems like that.
Well, what's going to happen when this changes? When your kids do come home or you're with somebody else or you're cooking again? If you don't get this taken care of now, it's just going to keep coming up. It's a beautiful scenario for you. This is what's in your way. It doesn't really matter if it's keto or what it is, but it keeps you from staying and eating when you're hungry and stopping when you're full. If the thought is, I'm always going to be fat, so what the heck?
Mm-hmm.
Is it like that?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's say that the kids are home from school and you're cooking. We can put that in the circumstance line too, right? Because you're cooking. You're cooking for them. Yeah. You guys, these are all C's. You can prove them. The reason you're eating food that you don't want to be eating is because you're thinking something about what the heck. It's like that. Just like giving it up.
Yeah, like my mom she gave us a chocolate cake. And I was like, Mom, 2 days earlier she gave me cookies. So
I'll always be fat. So what the heck? I'm serious.
Yeah.
That's how it is in the head.
Yeah.
And when you think I'll always be fat, so what the heck? You feel like either hopeless or apathetic. You don't care.
Sometimes when I'm eating, it just seems like I'm mindless or I'm numb.
You're not.
Just
You're not mindless. You have a thought. You're thinking something. It's making you feel either hopeless. And it's like when you have negative emotion that you don't want to feel, what the heck? Let's just eat.
Mm-hmm.
Mindless, as much as I use the word mindfulness, when you're eating, even when you don't like what you're eating, you are totally mindful. You're just making a decision. If you tell yourself you're mindless, you take your control away. Oh, I didn't know what, I don't even know what just happened. I have a lot of clients tell, I don't even know what happened. They were right there, the only one that was there, and they're telling me they don't know what happened.
Right.
You tell yourself you don't know what happened, your perception is you don't know what happened. That's kind of what you said to me too. You don't know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
This is what happened. And the result is, this is the beauty of this model. The result of the thought that I'll always be fat, so what the heck, is you just prove that that is true by eating when you're not hungry and using food. You prove it.
Mm-hmm.
You stay the way you are. And if you keep doing this, you will prove that you'll always be fat.
Mm-hmm.
It's a negative spin cycle. This is what a negative spin cycle looks like. It's like, what the heck? I think of everybody that's on this call that thinks like that. What the heck, right? So many circumstances have changed right now, and people want to attribute this situation to the circumstance. It's not. It's just your thinking. It's always been there. People have been yo-yo dieting their whole life. It's because something happens and triggers their mind to go back to what they used to do. And then they believe they just can't do it anymore. When I'm working with clients, this is the stuff that brings up the most amount of learning. This is what you have to work with, is that thought. Like, what do you mean, what the heck? It's totally important.
Mm-hmm.
It's totally important if you want what you want. It's totally important what you put in your mouth. You won't always be fat. You can change that. You already are changing that. I'm going to let you sit on that. I'm going to let you sit on that for a while.
Okay.
Because what I want you to see is I just want you to see the thought that's in the way and know that that thought is changeable. The circumstance your kids being there is not changeable. They're there right now. Mm-hmm. You're cooking. You believing something about that is in your way. And I would bet you that whatever that belief is that we see in this model has been there many times over the years. It's the problem.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Dottie has a question here. What are the steps to stop and let the feelings go through me when I jump to stuff my face because I'm stressed and I'm sure it's obvious, but I don't even think, I just act on the urge? All right. I'm going to answer that question first, and then I'm going to pull somebody else up because I think it's a really good question. What are the steps to let the feelings go through me? I talk about this a lot on my podcast, but this is what I want you guys to see is sometimes it's like that feeling just has to be felt. And it's what you guys really don't want to do. And it's something that I teach a lot when I'm working with clients. And I want to show you now that basically what you have to do is before you stuff your face, because if you are stuffing your face, quote unquote, if you are stuffing your face, it's too late. It's very hard to interrupt once you're doing the action. And so what I want you to realize that if you already see yourself doing it and you don't think you can stop, that happens. And that's part of what a storm is like. It's like you can see yourself doing it and you can't stop yourself. But this is what I want to offer about that is that there is an opportunity when it's over and everything dies down that if you decide not to beat yourself up, there's so much to learn from it. Because I think like the biggest success that I have with my clients is that because they're working with me and because they've invested a lot of money, they have to show up afterwards. And I think sometimes you guys, you don't. And so it's like you just want to forget it and push it under the carpet and pretend like it didn't happen. And then say to yourself, oh, I'm just going to forget it. I'm just going to go back. I'm going to eat right again. It's kind of like even when I was talking to Janelle, it's like she just wants to get back to eating no carbs again. But it's like before you can go back to eating the way you want to be eating, you got to find out what's causing you to eat that way to begin with. So really, sometimes when you're stuffing your face, you've got to be able to learn from it when it's over, like the next day. That's one thing I want you guys to see. You have to become curious and not furious. So she says, okay, she stuffs her face because she's stressed. I'm sure it's obvious, but I don't even think. I just act on the urge. Okay. It's probably true. You're not thinking too much. But I'll tell you what you're thinking. You're thinking how bad you want it. I mean, that could be the thought. I want it so bad. I want it so bad. Can you think about like if you're thinking something in your head, I really, really want it. The feeling that it creates is such strong desire that sometimes you'll just do anything to get it. So if you can pause when you feel that strong desire before you put anything in your mouth, can you sit with that desire? Not even figure out what you're thinking. Just sit with how it feels. I am telling you that feeling strong desire and not giving into it is one of the things that will make you the strongest. Urges come from all over the place. So urges can come from something as simple as, I want something sweet. I want something sweet creates an urge. And the urge feels a certain way in your body. And depending on how strong that urge feels, will depend on your action, what you'll do. But you have two actions that you can take. One is to eat. The other is to feel. Now, what you guys like to do in your A-line is distract yourself. And distracting is more like willpower, which a lot of times isn't very helpful. But when you can just sit with, this is what it feels like. This is what an urge feels like. This is what desire feels like. I know you don't like it. I'm telling you, if you have a choice between a cupcake and an urgent desire that feels like crap, what do you think your brain's going to want to choose? I don't know what happened. A lot of people say, I don't know what happened. Well, what happened is the desire was so strong, you ate it. A cupcake sounded better. It just did. And the only way to get stronger is to know that I can feel a desire, I can feel that urge, and I can let it go through me. What does it feel like when it's going through you? Where do you feel it? For me, it's like a buzzing in my diaphragm. It's a buzzing. That's what it feels like a buzzing. If I really try to concentrate on what it feels like and not concentrate on how bad I want something, but concentrate on how the feeling feels like. It's a buzzing, and it's strong, and it's a vibration, and it feels like I have to do something with it. But all I really have to do with it is feel it. And that's what I'm going to offer is sometimes you have to feel the emotion. I think the way my clients get the strongest is when they know they can feel that. And when they stop telling themselves, I don't know what happened. It's like I just woke up and I was eating it. It's kind of like that. But it didn't. You were there. You need to stay and not leave. You need to be with yourself. And the brain will calm down because the brain is like a toddler. Wants what it wants when it wants it. And if any of you guys understand toddlers, I'll tell you what. You ever had one in the morning that wants candy? I don't know. I have. And maybe as the adult in the room, you decide that they're just not having candy for breakfast. And they scream and they yell and all of that. But you've already made the decision as an adult who cares about this child, not going to have it. And they can scream and they can yell. You listen to it. You even feel what it feels like inside of you to want to give it to them, but you don't. Because you have decided that what you want more is them not eating the candy. And you just have to go with their whining and their screaming. You just let it go through. But that's what I want to offer about that. I hope it's helpful. I hope that's helpful, Dottie. All righty, Michelle. Hello. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I've been listening to you. So this is wonderful. Thank you.
How long have you been listening?
Probably a year and a half. I kind of off and on, but that's probably the first time was about a year and a half ago. So.
Well, thank you very much for listening to me for that long. Okay, well, what we're going to do today, I just want you to see, because I forgot to show everybody this. I have this cup right here. Can you read what it says?
Adjust attitude.
Yeah, my husband's a pilot, and so it's an altimeter in here that measures
Oh,
altitude.
okay. Very
But here
good.
it says adjust your attitude. So that's what we're doing today is we're creating miracles and we're adjusting our attitudes.
Excellent.
All right, what do you got for me?
Part of my question, I think you answered before about the urges, but I'm not sure if, I don't know that I have a good thought to put in the thought line. I'm struggling with that. Like
Okay.
I can follow you through and go, okay, yeah, the urge, I can sit and feel it, but it hurts so bad sometimes, whatever the underlying issue is. And I feel like I'm using food as a reward or a comfort.
Okay.
And then if I do well, the weight loss is so slow and I don't have a lot to lose that I don't get a reward out of it, so it's hard to see that making those good choices is even giving me a reward because it's so slow, I'm sure it has something to do with my thoughts, but.
I don't know how many people heard what you just said, but you already said it's so slow a few times.
Okay.
So what I want to ask you is, how does it make you feel when you think how slow it is?
Like I'm making no progress. And I'm I want to be a go-getter. I got to see the progress,
I bet nobody on this call can relate to that, because I will tell you what, 80% of my clients have that thought. It's not going fast enough. Now, what I want to show, how long have you been dealing with taking and putting and taking off weight?
Not very long, actually. I've struggled with body image my whole life.
Okay.
And maybe 7 or 8 years ago, I was able to lose some weight. And now I'm maybe 10 pounds more than that.
Mm-hmm.
So over the past year, and it's menopausal, I've really hit that menopausal state and everything too.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. But it's like now it's slowly increasing. So I'm not a yo-yo dieter. I haven't yo-yoed much at all. It's up a pound or two, down a pound or two. But now in the past year, it's been up a pound, up a pound, up a pound. And I'm terrified of yo-yo dieting. I'm terrified of restricting, because I don't want to deal with how it feels or how it'll feel if I stop restricting and and I don't even want to cut out sugar and flour. I don't really eat much flour anyway, but.
Yeah, I mean, when I have people cut out flour and sugar, I just want everybody to be really clear. It's not for a whole lifestyle. It's to do a science experiment to see what it's like to get it out of your body enough to have a clear brain.
Okay.
And to see how your body reacts to it. Because I think that we have a lot of thoughts about these foods and how they affect us. And until you get them out, you really do get clarity on how it affects you.
Okay.
So it's not to keep it out. So I think that for me, I don't eat it a lot. It's still in my diet a little bit. But anytime I need to do any work on myself, I take it out so I can get clear.
Okay.
So for you, the one thing I want to talk to you about is you said terrified a couple times to me. And how terrified are you of gaining weight?
Really?
Right. And I think that that's an interesting thing to look at for you, because you say you're not a yo-yo dieter, but I think you have a way of controlling that scale your whole life. And I just don't think it's working anymore for you, because when you hit menopause, your old tricks don't work. So for me, I could just starve myself for a few days and go down a few pounds, and then I'd go ahead and I could eat whatever I want. And then I would have to, but not a healthy way to do it, but a way to manage the scale.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so if you take those unhealthy habits into menopause, it's a rude awakening.
Yeah.
And I think that is what you're talking about, is that you can't do what you used to do and you can't get those fast results.
Yeah. And I don't know that I ever really got fast results, but my body used to hurt less. I used to be able to work out more. I had less aches and pains, and I maybe had more time. And so maybe I was managing it, like you say, in another way. It was never really restricting or.
I think you were doing something because you're so terrified.
Yeah.
That's what I would look at, is I would look at you and your body and the feeling. This is what I know for sure. You have a body and your name is Michelle. So these are all facts, right? We could put how much you weigh. We could put that in there as a fact. And it's 10 pounds over what you want, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you want to tell me the number?
Yeah, I probably weigh 154 and I'd love to be 145. And I think that's a totally, I don't think I could expect to ever weigh less than that. I think that would be healthy.
Okay. When you tell me what the number was again.
154 right now.
Okay, we're going to put that in there. What do you think about this number that makes you feel terrified?
It's the highest that I've been in, 10 years. And it's in my unacceptable range.
And because it's the highest it's been, what do you think about that?
I'm afraid that I'm on a roller coaster or I'm on a out of control train and that I'll never be able to reverse it.
I'm afraid. Are you afraid you're going to get fat?
Yes.
Okay.
I kind of already feel fat, but I know that's not reasonable, but
in the brain, nothing is reasonable. So, you can have your body and you and your body and me looking at your body are two different things.
Yeah.
Right? My perception and your perception is a problem.
Yes.
And what you need is a miracle. And you think the miracle is to lose the weight.
Yeah, I do.
It's not.
I think you're right. When you said that at the beginning, sorry, I hesitated to raise my hand because I would get emotional. But
it's okay. That's what coaching is all about. So just take a deep breath and emotions are welcome here.
Thank you.
Totally. This is what it feels like to feel what you're feeling. And just let it be. And when you're ready, you continue.
It makes a lot of sense that it's my perception.
Yeah.
Because, even my husband will say, you look great the way you are.
I know.
But it's convincing that person inside that that's true. I don't want to believe it.
I know, sweetheart. I know. And for you right now, you feel what you're feeling inside?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You deserve so much compassion for this moment from you, not from even me, of what this feels like inside of you, this feeling so terrified. That's why you're emotional, because you're feeling it.
Yeah.
The fear. It's totally okay. It's like, it's okay, sweetheart. It's okay. It's okay that you feel like this. There's a reason. We live in a culture that tells us our self-worth is based on our body. You've probably, like the rest of us, have grown up that way.
Yeah, definitely.
And I will tell you what, menopause is a beautiful time to transform that thinking.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. Because you're going to get older.
Yeah.
And your body's going to change more. And if it's not fat, it's going to be wrinkles. It's going to be something.
Yeah.
And if you can't change your perception about yourself and your own acceptance of yourself, it's never going to be okay.
Yeah. I think you're totally right. I'm
right.
So how do I do that?
Well, I'm offering a class at the end of this session. That's going to be one thing for you.
Okay.
But I want to tell you now that the most important thing for you is to realize this.
Okay.
Is to be at peace and acceptance that this is where you're at right now. So you've been fighting it.
Yeah.
You've just been fighting it and you're just going like, damn it, I got to lose 10 pounds.
Yeah.
God, would you stop eating? Like that. I got a lot of people giving a lot of feedback to you about your bravery and your tears and they're crying. And this is just we're all the same. One of the things about self-compassion is that we realize that we're more the same than we're different.
Yeah.
It's like everybody on here is basically talking right now off of this, off of your tears, off of your vulnerability. To be able to see what you're seeing, and everybody's seeing themselves right now.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
It's nice to know I'm not alone.
You're not alone. But I'll tell you, the way out is to realize that your weight does not define you.
Yeah. And I want to be more of a force for good, because I look at myself and I know I'm not seriously overweight by any means in the world.
You're seriously overweight in your head.
Yeah, in my head.
You might as well be 100 pounds overweight for the burden that you carry in your head. The weight makes no difference.
Yeah.
I have people, it just doesn't even make a difference.
Okay.
Your weight is your burden. It's your way to freedom.
Okay.
It's your gift to see more clearly. It's not to lose the weight.
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying you can't lose the weight.
Yeah.
I'm saying like in the end, probably what you would really like to do is eat when you're hungry and stop when you're full and use fuel food most of the time.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think that given any circumstance, I think all of us would really like that for ourselves.
Uh-huh.
I mean, if we're going to get older and we're going through menopause, what we put in our mouths has a huge effect on all of this. But
Yeah.
when we're so psychologically burdened by it, we can't do it.
Yeah.
We're using food in the wrong way,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because we're trying to make ourselves feel better with food, and then it makes us feel bad, and then it makes us feel better, and then it makes us feel bad, and then it makes us feel better. And the problem is in your burden in your head about who you think you are.
That makes sense. So the gift that you're talking about is just give myself the gift of self-compassion,
Acceptance,
acceptance.
love, even with 10 pounds on your body.
Okay.
See, because I have lots of clients that will definitely love themselves as soon as they lose their weight. Until
Right.
then, I'm not talking to you. Until then, I'm going to punish you. I'm not going to let you. It becomes like all of a sudden that I'm not going to let you eat, right? I'm not going to let you eat the foods that you want to eat because you're fat,
Yeah.
right? As opposed to maybe you don't want to eat those foods because they're not doing anything for you. You don't use it as punishment. You use it because you want to do it.
Yeah.
You use it because it's the best thing for you.
That's the thinking I need to change.
It's the thinking that you want to start working on, right?
Okay.
But I really encourage you to sit with what this is for you. The
Okay.
acceptance of what you've been thinking. No wonder, sweetheart. No wonder it's been so hard. It has been. This culture, the way that you think, the way you've been taught, it's all in your head. You're going to have to undo it.
Okay.
You totally can.
Okay.
I hope
Thank-
that helps. I think it was wonderful for everybody.
Thank you so much. And thanks to everybody for the
Thank
props.
you. Well, I think everybody said thank you to you. Andrea, hello.
Hi, how are you?
Wonderful. Welcome.
Thank you.
How'd you hear about me? How have you heard about me?
Podcast.
I
I've
love
probably been listening to at least a year, I would say, year and a half, maybe.
Here I am. How can I help you?
I've been struggling with my weight probably most of my life. And then I couldn't stand it anymore when I was hitting menopause. And I worked with a trainer with
Mhm.
weights and working out.
Mhm.
And I've been exercising pretty much steadily, not over exercising, but exercising quite a bit. And I've probably lost, I would say, about 40 to 45 pounds.
Mhm.
But I can never seem to get to the point I want to be at, which is just like Michelle, probably another, I would say somewhere between 10 and 20 pounds. And I would like to also weigh, I don't know what that number is, 145 pounds, but that's what I would like to weigh.
Mhm. Why? Why?
Because I feel like at that time when I did weigh that weight ever,
It's not a good reason. I'm just telling you right now.
ugh, I know.
Oh, when it was so good. I remember how good it was. I want to be back there again.
I know. I seem like I always have to be losing weight or gaining weight, I guess.
Yeah. So why don't we look at that?
Okay.
Because I think that's really interesting.
Yep.
Because that was me.
Yep.
I mean, that was my full-time job, actually. Is that how it is for you? It's kind of like a
Yeah.
job.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. What would it be like not to have that job anymore?
Such a relief. So
Are you
much
sure? Are you sure?
more time.
Are you sure? See, this is the thing. I think when we're so caught up with going up and down, and like for me, it was like gaining all my weight it was a time to be able to take a break and eat whatever I want. And it was fun.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to go do that diet stuff. It was like, just forget about it. Doesn't really work and blah, blah, blah. So I would do that. And I would go up to a certain weight. And then I would go back to Weight Watchers. And then I would do my job again.
Mm-hmm.
And losing weight was really fun because it created so many changes, right? You get to see the scale go down.
Yeah.
People I would say that in our culture, the biggest compliment that you're ever going to get is, it looks like you've lost weight. It's
Right.
like, I think people say that more than they say, oh, you look pretty today.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it looks like you've lost weight. I can't tell you how many people still ask me if I've lost weight. I haven't lost any weight in so long. But it's like, instead of saying you look pretty, it's like, have you lost weight?
Right.
So it's like, you're either, when you're losing, you get all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're gaining, you get to do what you couldn't do when you were doing all of that.
Right.
So why do you want to stop doing that?
Stop, you mean the roller coaster up and down?
Yeah.
Because I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. I want to accept myself. Like what you said to Michelle, basically, to accept myself first, just who I am, for the way I am at this point, and just stop being so critical and just looking in the mirror every day at how terrible I look, how fat. Oh, today I look really fat. Today I don't look
after losing 45 pounds.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So you are the same as Michelle.
Yeah.
That really what has to happen first is, can you love yourself at this weight and accept yourself where you
Right.
are?
Right.
Not right. Yes or no?
Yes.
Can you?
I think. I don't know. Some days.
Right. Like every day.
Right.
Right. And I think that in order, it's like you want to love yourself then. You want to love yourself to a number, not hate yourself to a number.
Right.
And I think we're in a culture where we hate ourselves and restrict ourselves and deprive ourselves and make ourselves do things that we don't want to be doing because we think we should. Like, it's great if you're working out and you love it and it makes you feel really good. And the food that you're eating is really helping and it's really making you feel really good. And it's not all wound up in who you are.
Right.
It would change.
I do notice the working out. It's helped me get through menopause. I mean, it helped me a lot mentally with all the
working out is a wonderful thing to do if it's done for the right reason, which is to make you it. The reason we have to move our bodies is because we were wired to move. We were wired that when we're under stress, we need to move. Fight or flight. We got to move. There's stress, move.
Yeah.
It feels good.
I agree with that because I do use it as like a weapon.
Right.
The working as a weapon. But then this is another thing, but the other problem I seem to have is why do I get to a point and then I gain my weight? I get to a number or I get to feeling good and then I like punish myself or I reward myself with food. It's either a punishment or a reward. It's back and forth.
Right. So here's the thing. If it's a punishment to lose weight, then you will want to reward yourself with food. So until you can decide that it's not a punishment, like I was saying to Michelle, it's like, seriously, like, don't you want to put these good foods into your body? Like they do make you feel really good and they really do taste good. And there's a lot of things about it that's really good. If we weren't tied up in I can't have that and I shouldn't have that. And if I eat this and this is going to be wrong. And now I'm fat, so I have to lose weight and I can't eat the foods that I really want to eat. We tell ourselves such stories that it does become like that, like a reward and punishment.
Or I lose weight and then I punish myself with food.
Well, why don't you just talk about like your weight right now?
Okay.
What do you think about that?
I don't like my weight right now.
Right, but you've lost. We'll also put in the C line. How much have you lost?
About 45 pounds.
And you weigh? How much you weigh?
About 165.
Why did I put 145? I don't even.
Well,
know.
that's what I wanted to weigh is 145.
Oh, okay.
I wish.
Okay. But you lost 45 pounds.
Right.
And what do you think about that?
What do I think about what would I weigh now?
What do you think about weighing 165 pounds and you lost 45 pounds?
I think 165, I mean, I'm happy that I weigh that now, but I think 165 is way too much for my height. I think that's a lot of weight. I feel fat.
Okay. I just want you to see, I'm cracking open your nut right now because it's a little nutty.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you've lost 45 pounds and you weigh 165 and you're going, you know what? That's not enough.
Right.
It's way too much.
Yeah.
How does it make you feel when you tell yourself it weighs too much? That it's too much?
That it's too much that...
How does it make you feel when you think you weigh too much? It's too much.
Well, overwhelmed. Like I'm a loss. It makes me feel like I don't know, helpless. I thought of a word now. I can't think of what I thought. But when I weigh too much, it makes me feel terrible that I weigh that much.
Let's just put terrible. Okay, so the fact is you've lost 45 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
The thought is it's way too much and it makes you feel terrible. So you feel terrible about losing 45 pounds. Oh, and Jane says she's got a thought. She wonders if it'll ever come off. That's her thought. I wonder if it'll ever come off.
Right.
But it's so fascinating that, this is your fact and this is your feeling because you're still cutting yourself down so bad, making yourself feel so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So what happens in your A line? What do you do when you feel terrible, when you think it's too much?
I feel like I can't control myself or I'll never get there. So I might as well just eat.
Okay. So do you end up going off of whatever it is you're doing in terms of a plan or a protocol or whatever it is? Or, do you end up overeating or using too many joy eats? Let's just put it that way.
A lot of joy eats, a night eater I am. I'm the night eater.
Eat when you're not hungry.
Closet eater, night eater. Yep.
How about just eating when you're not hungry?
Right. Okay.
And using food to make you feel better. Right? Like you're making yourself feel terrible. And so you eat to try to make yourself feel better.
Right.
Off of your thought that it's way too much.
Yeah.
And your question is, why do I get to a certain weight and then why do I start punishing myself?
Right.
Now you see. This is why. Because you tell yourself it's not good enough.
Right.
You just lost 45
I'll never
pounds.
be enough. I'll never be thin enough. That's my feeling. I'll never be thin enough.
Well, that's another one. We could do another model off of, but you could put that in there too, because it's still going to make you feel, it'll probably make you feel hopeless.
Right.
But it's like, you guys, when you hear me coaching her, it's like you should be able to do like a thought download and start writing your thoughts about your number. So you can see why you feel so bad, because you make yourself feel bad and then you go back to using food to make yourself feel better.
Right.
And then the result is you, just by thinking it's way too much or it's way too hard or it'll never happen, you prove it in your result line.
Yep. Because I never get past that.
You prove the thought by overeating and show that it's too much. Or if the thought is I'll never get there or I'll never be thin enough. When you think the thought that I'll never be thin enough and it makes you feel kind of hopeless, like why bother? Your A line is overeating again because we're using food. We're not using it for fuel.
Right.
We're using it to try to make ourselves feel better from battering ourselves.
Yeah.
It's like, you think it's coming from out here, but it's coming from in your head. Can you see that?
Yeah, I would say most of my eating is all due to my feelings, for sure. I mean, I hardly ever eat when I'm hungry. I mean, I do eat when I'm hungry, but I mean, most of it is definitely from feelings.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So terrible and hopeless. So one thing is that I'm going to also suggest to you and to anybody, it's sometimes you just have to feel those feelings and still not eat.
Right. And I haven't done that too often. Just to sit with the feeling.
I think there's a lot to be said about all of that because of the way that you think. And so it's like a process that happens.
Mm-hmm.
And the work that I do and the program I'm going to be offering is teaching these essential tools.
Okay. Yep.
But they're just essentials that you got to be able to be a little bit more clear into your own head. It's like you're creating a result off of your own thinking, right? You're going to have to believe something else with where you are right now that's going to create a feeling of either motivation, determination, empowerment. You want to create something positive.
Yeah.
And maybe you want to do it because it's the next half of your life that you're creating. Like, do you really want to go to your deathbed hoping you're thinner?
No.
But it's looking that way for all of us if we don't get a handle on our thinking, right? It's not getting to the weight that's going to be the reward. You're going to be rewarded first, and then you're going to get to the weight. Okay. You're going to feel better first, and then you're going to get to the weight. Okay. You want to feel better when it's over, but you never even let yourself get there because you're busy punishing yourself before you even get there.
Correct.
This is probably this way for everybody. Everybody that's listening here. It was me. There's another way.
Yeah.
So you know a lot of my tools, but now what you know is what's driving you in your head.
Right.
It's your own self-hatred of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's your non-acceptance of who you are as you are, that you're worth just as much at 145 as you are at 165. Your worthiness doesn't change. And at some level, we know that. That's why bother losing weight if we're just looking for our worthiness?
Right.
We're already worthy, right? But then our brain goes, no, we're not. No. We've learned that if we don't have that body that we see on somebody else, it's saying something about us. We can't have that.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the webinar. If it sings to you and the power of coaching sings to you, then please check out my class that's starting in a few weeks, drdebbutler.com/essentials, and it's in my show notes. And until next week, you know what I want you to do? Please, 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 no matter what else you do, be very, 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 very kind to yourself and then kind to others. And I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
If you're ready to take your eating issues to another higher, more improved level, well, it's time to talk to my wife, Dr. Deborah. She's helped hundreds and thousands of people. Just visit drdebbutler.com/work with me. You'll get a free consultation with Dr. Deb and find out if coaching and talking to my wife is a solution to your struggles.